about celebrity branding and Red Bull. Let's get some drama going in this room. So our topic is Arab Spring and social media. Allow me to introduce my group first. So I'm Ahmed, Shweta, Sajwa, Naz, Sean, and Ju. But before we get into our presentation, I'd like to engage you with a couple of questions. And by the way, we have prizes for those who are going to score the right answers or near right answers. So first question is, out of all the information circulation that was going during the protests of the Arab Spring, what percentage do you guys think of information was actually going through social media sites?
100%.
5%.
Raise your hands, guys. You're going to get the prize.
65.
Okay. 80?
100.
100? 70?
70.
70, okay. I'm not going to tell you the right answer right now. So.
87.96.
Oh, you use your phone. That's right. Okay, so let's move to the second question. Okay, so during the revolution in Egypt, so it started on the 25th of Jan, 2011, and ended on the 11th of Feb, so it lasted for 18 days. So how many tweets do you guys think were going around during the 18-day revolt on Twitter, which were related to the revolution? Like, just give a number.
Can I ask you something?
5 million.
5 million? Sorry?
How big is the population?
80 anyway.
80 million?
Yeah, 80, yeah.
I would say 10 million.
10 million? Okay.
30 million.
30 million? 5 million? 1 million? Okay. Okay, so now I'll leave you to watch a video, and it has the right numbers for those questions, by the way. Thanks for watching the video. So, allow me first to introduce you to the Arab Spring. So, what was Arab Spring? Arab Spring was a series of revolutions, riots, uprisings, and civil wars that started in Tunisia and then propagated to involve other countries such as Egypt, Yemen, Libya, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and even very far countries like Mauritania and Djibouti. So, what was the cause of these revolutions? Well, interestingly, most of those countries were ruled by dictators who have been ruling those countries for years. For example, Hosni Mubarak, the former president of Egypt, was there for 30 years. They were all engaged in electoral fraud. There were human rights violations, high and increasing rates of unemployment, food price inflation, widespread corruption, political, social. But what was all of those reasons were going on for years. What was the real spark that really started the Arab Spring? It was in Tunisia, where Mohamed Bouazizi, as you've seen in the video, who was humiliated by, he's a street vendor who was humiliated by some government officials. He decided to set himself on fire on the 17th of December 2010, just to show his extreme anger and discontent. And from this moment, people started to realize that they have to ask for freedom, for democracy, for transparency. But there is a question you guys must be wondering about right now. So I have said that widespread corruption, all of those reasons have been going on for years. Does that mean that people in the Middle East haven't been trying to revolt against the regimes for all those years? Well, the answer is they did. So, for example, in Libya in the early 90s, a group of people in a village in the Green Mountain area tried to revolt against the President Gaddafi. And what happened at that time, Gaddafi sent a bunch of helicopters that boomed the whole village. No one ever knew about it. It wasn't communicated in the media. And instead, if you see on the left side, the picture on the left side, those people have been hired by the government. The government paid them money in order to say how amazing the country is under the current government, and they were actually stating that Gaddafi is the best president ever. So that was actually what the media was trying to convey. Similarly, in Egypt, in 2005, by the time of the presidential elections, a group of people, about nearly 300, tried to start and initiate a movement called Kefaya. Kefaya, by the way, in English means enough. So they wanted to revolt against Hosni Mubarak, especially after rumors have been going around that he is going to pass the presidency to his own son Gamal. So they just wanted to tell everyone that we have had enough. We want transparency and democracy. But the problem is, most of those attempts have failed, and lots of others. Why did they fail? Like, mainly, people wasn't able to garner support. They lost momentum. They couldn't reach to other people, and they were severely opposed by the governments. So now there must be a question. So why did the Arab Spring, in comparison to all those past examples, has succeeded? So I will leave this to Shweta, who's going to answer you that question.
Thank you. So as Ahmed said, we've seen that there were quite a few similar characteristics between a lot of past revolutions and the Arab Spring. So what was different about Arab Spring? How did it become so successful? And as you would have figured out by now, it was social media. So, but to start off, what really motivated the use of social media? And how did social media help your protesters accomplish their objectives? So there were quite a few reasons that actually helped do this, but the most significant trigger came in the form of lack of transparency in the traditional media, which was majorly controlled by the government. So the traditional media presented a false picture of what was going on, just to make an attempt and show people that everything was fine, there was no uprising. And that's why people wanted something other than that to show what was really happening. And internet and social media was what people were looking for, and these were the channels that helped them put forward what was actually happening. So it was kind of an alternative voice to the state-run media. On the slide, you can see two different pictures. The picture on the left is, it kind of gives us the impression of a lot of unrest, but the one on the right is a typical peaceful, normal day. But what's interesting is that these two pictures were taken around the same place. The only difference is that the one on the left was what was shown through social media, YouTube, and that was what the reality was. And the picture on the left was what the government tried to show through traditional broadcast media. And so when all these things were going on, credibility was one big thing that people started associating with social media, which proved to be a vital source of real-time news. So people used live streaming videos to broadcast pictures and videos directly from the protests. And these pictures and videos it just went viral on social media, and that in a way inspired a lot of other people to join in those protests. Another interesting element of social media was in terms of helping create and sustain a feeling of unity, and which was very important in maintaining the protest, not just starting the protest, but maintaining the protest. And people found a lot of blogs, Facebook pages where they were able to meet several people who kind of shared this similar views. And this physiological impact of social media outlets was like a confirmation that there are a number of people out there who actually had similar interests and shared similar views. And therefore, when all this was happening, a coalition which rose above all political and social differences was formed around a unifying goal, although the members of the group were not necessarily unified on other issues, for example. And another significant element of social media was its reach. The ability to introduce people to new ideas and new information at an incredible speed and which went across different geographical borders. For example, people in Tunisia were using social media to educate people in Egypt to tell them about how to deal with gas bombs that the policemen were using, as you can see, during the protests. And another example is that of a person who ran a Facebook page from her home in California when one of the lead protesters was arrested in Egypt. So when all this is consolidated, we see that what social media really helped do was decentralize the whole system. Information was being disseminated from multiple locations and across multiple channels. So if one channel or location broke down or was blocked by the government, the people could still share information through other channels. And this maintained raising awareness and it continued to gather support. So the Arab Spring actually showed the whole world what is possible when we combine social unrest with powerful social media tools. With this, I'd like to pass it off to Sean, who will actually show us how these tools were used.
Thanks, Rita. Let's take a closer look of how people were utilizing the social media. First would be the Facebook page. This page was created right after Khalid Said was murdered. He was brutally killed by the police, accusing him of using drugs, getting drugs. That was a lie. The family was furious. They took a picture of the body, put it on Facebook, and within 48 hours, it accumulated over 600,000 likes, responses. And ever since, this page was used by people to communicate with each other, to form all the protests. And then Twitter. All the social media, they were interconnected. People would use the information from Facebook, put it on Twitter, and vice versa. So you will see that the government is trying to force them to stop using all the social media. The second one was people use it to communicate, to bring updates to each other. They were warning people that the government, they were trying to attack them. They were attacking people actually in the square. The third one is a guy, he couldn't get access to his Facebook, Gmail. He used Twitter instead, to his family, his sister, that it's okay. The next one that they were saying people that they were in the square, they were saying from the tanks. The true heroes are the ones in the square. So people were using Twitters to bring update and communications among each other. This is another example of people how they utilize social media to plan, to organize, and to execute their events. They're trying to start talking online, they set up the date, set up the map, set up location, and they were on the street. And of course, when they were on the street, the social media were used extensively. And this is the usage of social media, Twitter. This is the Tunisia, this is Egypt. You see the first spike was encouraged by the resignation of the president in Tunisia. The second one, it was the start of the uprising in Egypt. But over here, you will see this is the time that the government shut down all the online communications, all the online access for 5 days. But right after that, you see people were even angrier, increased usage of social media. You will see all this close relationship of all these political events and increased usage of social media. Twitter over here. And we believe that at the moment, the power of social media was much, much greater than the authority and the people in power. People are not afraid to go on the street anymore. They will use social media to force the authority to change. You see over here, we want freedom, stop our tweet. And the next slide, you will see the picture was taken in a terrorist square in Egypt. People were saying that they use social media. They use Facebook to organize events, Twitter to coordinate, and YouTube to tell the world what's going on. So see in the picture, the guy over here, they actually utilize social media, Twitter, blogs, to tell this information, to send information message around the world. The next slide, we believe we've identified 3 achievements that social media has brought to the revolution. The first is the new version of the civil society, a healthier society. What meant here is there's no dictatorship, no censorship. People are allowed to express their opinions freely. Inspiration. From Tunisia to Egypt to Libya, people were using social media to educate each other, to communicate with each other and further inspire each other. The third achievement is the organization benefits. One of the Arab marketers once said that all the consumers were stupid because they were told in the past that consumers were stupid. But revolution proves that consumers are stupid. The importance of the social media and then the new idea fundamentally changed the ecosystem. All this marketing campaign, they were geared towards freedom, towards social media sites, ever since. And last slide is the time frame. Above it was the slogan. The slogan was widely and extensively used throughout Arab Spring. It reads as, Ashab Yurik Isaac Anizam. It means that people want to bring down the regime. People want to bring down the authority. And from the incident in Tunisia to the Facebook page creation to the use of blog and to all the shutdown of the internet, it all led to the revolution. And we believe it was social media that made the revolution possible. And to that, I'd like to end our presentation and take any questions you have.
So before that, you said 1 million for the number of tweets? That was zero.
One of the concerns with the process of social media that, let's say in Syria, is they weren't able to achieve the same things that they did in other countries.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. Syria is the only